The first of the government's four-point initiative is the start of work on a new Gibraltar development plan. A tender will be published in the coming weeks, with a plan aiming to set out a future vision for the coordination of development and planning. But given the levels of construction over the past few years, hasn't the horse already bolted?
No, the reality is actually that it hasn't taken long. The standard practice was always to issue a development plan, a new plan, every 10 years. The 1991 plan didn't come in until 2009, which is almost 19 years too late. So 2009 plan is the one that we've announced within the 10 years, 2019, that we are replacing. So as you know, a development plan will regulate the land use in different areas of Gibraltar, height, massing, planning policies. The general public will also have the opportunity rather to input into the plan. There will be a public consultation process, and that will provide for people to put across their views and to put across whatever opinions and ideas they may have as to the planning and development in Gibraltar going forward into the future.
In terms of renegotiation of existing projects, this has seen the government persuade developers to reduce the height of some buildings and create more public spaces, such as outside the Old Theatre Royal, the Commonwealth Park and the Small Boats Marina.
You factored in 5 new open spaces. Now, is this in response to criticisms that Gibraltar's become a concrete jungle?
There is already a track record of certain open green areas being established in Gibraltar. We've announced today that there will be 5 more. The Nuffield Pool already has proved to be a great success. The new Midtown Park also we're sure will be as successful as Commonwealth Park has been. We've also announced the old Roja Bay Officers Swimming Club will be open to the general public as yet another bathing pavilion and bathing area as part of our discussions with the developer that was subject to expressions of interest at the time. And even in the northern defences, which you tend to think of as being tunnels and galleries and battlements and what have you, there are huge open areas which measure up to 3,500 metres square, nearly the size of Commonwealth Park, which the government has decided will be open to the general public for outdoor public activity. And importantly, this is only a stone's throw away from Main Street and from Casements.
Now, you've also talked about freezing development in some areas, and one of these areas is the Queen's Cinema and the Queen's Hotel. This is an area that for many years now the government has said is going to be redeveloped. There was talk about it becoming the new theatre complex or possibly a new hotel area, and yet it's being frozen. Yet again, many will be very disappointed at that news.
Well, I think some might be disappointed and others might not, particularly if you're not happy at the current scale of construction, which is what we are trying to mitigate with the announcements and the policies that we have been adopting over the last few months. We've taken the view that development on the 6 sites that we've announced, the Queen's Cinema, the Queen's Hotel, Bayside School, St. Anne's School, development on those sites and on six in total, the Rooke site and the old Yacht Club site, will now be frozen, and those will be brought into the development market slowly and in a paced way to ensure that they come in when other developments come to an end and that everything doesn't happen at the same time.
Does this announcement today show that the government is listening to concerns from the public, from NGOs, from the Heritage Department, from the opposition about the pace of development in Gibraltar?
Well, I said at the beginning that the government shares those concerns. I mean, we understand that development affects people and affects citizens and affects residents, and by controlling what we do on government land, we feel there is a way in which we can control the pace of development going forward generally in the future.
The government says there's considerable demand and intense competition for land, but that this investment generates both economic activity and employment and is good for Gibraltar as a whole.